Hello, my name is Toby from the CinQ team. I'd like to introduce my colleague Eric.
Hey guys! The objective for this video today is actually to take you through our 5 main training programs with CinQ. So here you're on the CinQ website, as you can see, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly click here on the Show More button. And this leads us to the main page we're going to be talking about today. I'm actually going to fade myself in the background and let Toby sort of take you through these and explain what they're about. Over to you.
Thank you, Eric. Well, the first thing is to recognize there's a kind of scale that goes from left to right. And so the first program, which is Explorer, it's an introduction to teamwork and team dynamics. It allows you to work with a coach and to get your team familiarized with the key pedagogical concepts of working within a team, and also the basics of communication, of collaboration, of setting goals, of taking some risks, and of course execution. And using CinQ gives you a mirror into the way that your team needs to do. Typically, it would be a morning session introducing some of the concepts, but also a practical session with CinQ, a break, and maybe one or two sessions in the afternoon with a debriefing with the whole team and with the coach. What is also available, depending on your needs as a client, is that we can do one-on-one coaching with each of the team members afterwards. Now we move on to Pathfinder. Here Pathfinder is taking the basics that you will have learnt in Explorer or that you already have, and it's focused on the development of soft skills, or as it's been rebranded, power skills. What we're really focusing on here are the basics of emotional intelligence, which in this case is growing self-awareness, making sure that self-control is in place, and that you're developing a radar and empathy for your teammates. Overlaid across this in pragmatic way of understanding emotional intelligence with a team focused on business goals is the beginning, which is what is your objective? What are your goals? Why are you here? This is a soft skill, which is surprising for many people, but being able to align your team around short-term goals as you go through is a soft skill. Second one is around teamwork and collaboration. Most teams have difficulty in understanding how to collaborate. And here we really work at the basics of making sure that in terms of sharing information and making sure everybody's on the same page and making sure there's alignment with the tasks that you've described within CinQ as a project, that you're able to do this. The third skill is what we call evaluation, but it is about problem solving and creative thinking. And how, not the individual doing it, though that is important, but how the individual does that within the context of the team, and how the team create a power within collective creative thinking, within collective problem solving. The fourth skill, and the most important skill that makes all the others happen, is execution. Your ability to be action orientated, your ability to deliver against the goals that you've set, and your ability to take risks. Here we're talking about trial and experimentation. Here we're talking about iteratively testing your hypothesis as you go through the game, etc. Same thing here in terms of Explorer, but only in terms of the way a day is managed. But here, because it's intensive and because you're looking to really change your skill sets, it's 3 to 5 days. We, of course, you would expect, recommend the 5 days for your return on learning. but we also recognize that time is a priority. So we have a 3-day intensive workshop for that as well. So the next program that we have is Trailblazer. Here, Trailblazer is mainly focused on senior executives, senior managers, depending on what type of business that you're in. Here, we're focused on building on the dynamics that's within Explorer, that's on the soft skills and the power skills that you have within Pathfinder. But here, it's setting it within the context of a multi-team strategy. I'm sure that you recognize from the beginning of the website, where we talk about the business normal is the problem in facing the highly complex, at speed tsunami of change that's coming towards us as a result of technological and scientific revolutions. I mean, basically, we're talking about a perma crisis, and that the best way to organize yourselves to be able to adapt to these scenarios is through a multi-team strategy. And here we focus on the inner game of how that happens. How are you going to lead within a multi-team strategy? How are you going to empower your teams and your people to be able to function so that they now take on the job of making decisions that you did before? You know, moving further down the hierarchy, the job of making of important decisions. So this is what Trailblazer is about, and as we talked about, it's 3 and 5 days. Moving on to our next program. This is in a partner with a company called The Next Mind. It's a 1-day course that's primarily focused around scenario planning. It's a very important workshop, because while it's meant for the CEO and C+ executives, it's not meant for anybody below that, though uniquely it could be used by innovation teams or design teams as well. Because what you're looking at is, how are you configured now? What is your as is? And what is your to be? What do you need to have configured within your organization across many different factors to be able to cope with the future? Here, in the Anti-Fragile course, you get to choose from a range of scenarios. These scenarios are identified as the most important to you, and there's a quite intensive focus on these, with follow-up work between the CEO and the Next Mind team afterwards. Within the Next Mind team, they've also started to bring out other workshops for startups and for other other ways of looking at scenario planning for different teams, etc. Our final program is Groundbreaker. And Groundbreaker here is about taking all that's on the left-hand side, or my left-hand side, right, and turning it into a project at scale. Because it's all very well training one team, training 2 teams, etc. But that actually isn't the major problem. What is the major problem is, how do I take 2,000 people and how do I turn them quickly into a powerhouse that uses creative thinking, that uses collaborative thinking? Well, this is what Groundbreaker is about. So whereas the other programs are actually workshops over an extensive period, Groundbreaker is a project. And as such, it brings coaches working with the key people in your organization to develop a trainer-trainer program. It brings in key metrics and KPIs that we need to work on. And it works on embedding a multi-team strategy within your organization, and accompanied by the power skills that really fuel this change. Is there anything that you want to say, Eric? Do you know, in terms of
No, I think that was great. You covered pretty much everything.
All right.
I think to finish here, thanks everyone for watching. And as always, it'd help us a ton if you guys could click those buttons below to like and subscribe. And we'll see you in the next one.
Bye bye, everybody.
Ciao.